my Blu-ray collection part 32. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to part 32 of a look at my Blu-ray collection. So these are films, TV, music, comedy, maybe some documentary type films, who knows. No box sets, and the box sets I keep separately, which I've already shown, which is why I'm not showing them now, are multi-film box sets and multi-series of a TV show. So if it's a big box of just one series of a TV show, they're in with this lot. If they're a commemorative version of a film, they're in with this lot as well. Let's just carry straight on. As I mentioned at the start of the last part, which is the start of this shelf, I'm recording these very early in the morning. It's currently 1 minute past 6 in the morning. I'm still waking up, so apologies for any stumbles, delays, brain farts, whatever. First up we have Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, starring Steve Carell and my favourite actress Keira Knightley. So this is it's announced that an asteroid will be hitting the Earth in 3 weeks. Steve Carell plays Dodge, who's an insurance salesman, and so his wife chucks him out. She decides for the last 3 weeks she wants to be happy, so she gets rid of him. So he is just sort of in a daze, doing nothing, when suddenly he receives a letter out of the blue from his childhood sweetheart, Olivia. So he decides there's a riot around his flat, so he manages to escape with his eccentric neighbour Penny, played by Keira, and they drive away, and he persuades her to take him to see Olivia, and you know, they become more and more friendly on the way. Very good film, funny, heartwarming. Enjoyed it a lot. Comedy, a couple of comedies. Sean Lock, this is Purple Van Man Live from 2013. Big fan of Sean Lock, very funny guy. Most famous for his work on 8 out of 10 Cats, and 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown, but he's a great stand-up. I first saw him years and years and years and years ago, after the Mary Whitehouse experience. Rob Newman and David Baddiel had a series, Newman and Baddiel in Pieces, which was excellent. And Sean did a lot of character work on that, and then he supported them on tour, and I saw him on tour with him supporting them. And he sort of vanished for a bit, and then he re-emerged, and I thought, oh, that's that guy. He's just really funny. When he first started, he was very similar in style to Harry Hill, but Harry Hill, quite by coincidence, they started around the same time, and he realised that Harry Hill did it a lot better than he did, so he let Harry Hill carry on with that shtick, and he sort of developed his own persona. Sometimes, occasionally, he still sort of creeps out a bit, but yeah, very dry, very acerbic, but very funny. Purple Van Man, and Lockopedia, which I think was before that. I see a date on here. My Early Morning Eyes, 2010, yeah. Which is a previous tour and equally as good. Scream 4, I've shown the box set, which I think was on DVD, of the first 3 films, which I very much love. This is number 4. It wasn't as good, certainly, as the first. No, I think it is the 4th best. Willow's having a moment. Again, it does have the advantage of having Emma Roberts in, who I think is amazing. It's sort of, and Hayden Panettiere's in it as well. It's sort of like a reboot of them with a new, younger version of the cast, but Courtney Cox and David Arquette and Courtney Cox. Well, she's back to Courtney Cox by now, and Neve Campbell are in it as well. But yeah, still a lot of fun. Last Jedi, Star Wars, obviously, the 3D version. So this was the first of the new trilogy, Skywalker trilogy, is it they call it? Whatever, the newer films. Film I very much enjoyed. I have enjoyed all three of them. I'm lying. I just realised I'm lying. Last Jedi is the second one, isn't it? But my statement still stands. I very much enjoyed it. I know it gets quite a fair bit of criticism, this film, which I've never really seen why. Excellent work by Rian Johnson, in my opinion. Yeah, really enjoy it. I don't want to say too much because you've all seen it, haven't you? Sherlock. What have I shown? I think I've shown series 4 already. I've certainly shown some of Sherlock already. This is 2 and 3. So 2 had Scandal in Belgravia, so that's the one with Lara Pulver as that lady, Irene, I keep wanting to say Irene Adler, The Hounds of Baskerville, and the Reichenbach Fall, which is where he properly meets Moriarty, and no, he's already met Moriarty, hasn't he? This is where Moriarty's game comes to a conclusion, and it looks like Sherlock dies. And then series 3, it turns out he's not. There's that John's sort of moved on and he's met Mary. There's that brilliant scene in the restaurant when Sherlock reveals that he's still alive to John. That's does it list them on the thing? So that's The Empty Hearse. Then you've got The Sign of 3 and His Last Vow. But yeah, 3 more excellent shows. Okay, let's move on to a few more. We have the first Terminator, another film I've owned on every format. I love the Terminator films, full stop. Although I haven't seen the last one yet. But I will. First one, absolutely fantastic. You're all familiar with Terminator, I don't need to tell you about it, really. Ted, very much enjoyed. I have Ted 2 as well, which I might have already shown. I think I have. Nowhere near as good as the first. Still fun, but the first one is absolutely excellent. So I'm sure you're familiar with it, but Seth MacFarlane film. Mark Wahlberg has a teddy bear who came to life when he was a child. Who I think it was... Oh, it was a wish he made. And his teddy bear came to life, Ted. So they've grown up together as thunder buddies because he's petrified of thunder, and so Ted helps him get through the thunder. But he's very foul-mouthed. Is Ted, and basically he refuses to sort of get rid of him, and it's how that affects his life. But a very funny film. Excellent film, Tamara Drew, starring the divine Gemma Arterton. So, it's directed by Stephen Frears, who did with Queen and lots of other stuff. Roger Allen, Tamsin Gregg, Dominic Cooper, Luke Evans, really strong British cast. So, when Tamara left the village she grew up in, she had a huge great nose and she was a bit of an ugly duckling. She comes back, she's had a nose job, she's gorgeous Gemma Arterton, and she's a journalist, and she comes back, I think, to sort of write about where she grew up, and she comes back as this gorgeous thing, and it affects everybody, and it's very funny. It's not it's not a laugh out loud comedy laugh fest, but it's a laughing at the situations and that sort of comedy, more gentle comedy, but very funny. It's based on a graphic novel, actually, but yeah, really, really good. Excellent performances all round. Speaking of very, very good, excellent performances all round, we have Take This Waltz. Brilliant film. Michelle Williams, who's probably my favourite American actress. She gets involved with Luke Kirby, and the problem is, she straight away they hit it off and she's madly in love. Problem is she's married to Seth Rogen. Turns out the guy she falls in love with lives opposite them, and so they begin this affair, and she ends up moving in with him, and it's, you know, it's a relationship drama, but it's got an edge. I mean, obviously Seth Rogen's in it, Sarah Silverman's in it as well, so there's a comic edge as well. Brilliant performances all around. Excellent film. We have Take That, Progress Live. So this was the tour for the Progress album, which was the album that Robbie came back for. Saw this show at Wembley. I think was this recorded at Wembley? I think it was. It wasn't the night I was at, but I think it was recorded at Wembley. Just an amazing show. That is a huge robot, basically, that was part of a stage show. You know, towered, filled up the stadium. Absolutely amazing. Visuals spectacular. The show started with the 4-piece Take That, so Take That without Robbie, coming on and sort of doing their hits from when they reformed up until Progress. Then they went off and Robbie came on and did some of his hits, and then they all came together to do the rest of the show. Yeah, just visually spectacular and amazing as well, if you see what I mean. Couple more. This is another Take That. This is Look Back, Don't Stare. So this is a documentary about the making of Progress. So as a big Robbie Williams fan, obviously this is a period of Take That's career that I like Take That anyway, but this period in particular I love. And this is a fascinating documentary about them getting back together. Oh, avalanche. And then we have, let's do both of these together, and then that'll do for this part. So we have Kidulthood and Adulthood. Is it Boyhood, the third one? I don't have yet. I will get it because I love these films. So these are written and directed by Noel Clarke, who also stars in them. Well, not necessarily stars, but appears in them. Fantastic films about basically growing up as kids in the early 21st century. It's set in I'm trying to think how to phrase it. I'm not quite sure. I want to say the ghetto, but it's not the ghetto. It's a fairly well-to-do. That's why I'm struggling to. But it's an area of, I think it's London. I'm pretty certain it's London, where, you know, gangs and guns are sort of fairly prevalent, and knives and that sort of thing. You know, it's a violent area. You know, drugs are prevalent and whatever. It's got a proper, you know, it's not just a film about nothing, if you like. You know, there's a through plot about a suicide and a party where things kick off and all that sort of stuff. But it's just brilliantly written, brilliantly performed film. And then Adulthood follows on a few years later, 6 years I think it is, and it's sort of it's difficult to explain this without spoiling this, but because of something that happens in this, one of the main cast goes to prison. I'll just leave it at that. And this is him coming out of prison and what happens after that, and trying to survive people who are trying to get revenge for that. It's hard to explain. But yeah, both excellent films that I highly recommend. Okay, that'll do for this part. I'm slowly waking up, so these are getting more coherent. If you've watched part 31, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you for watching. Keep an eye on my playlist. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.